Hey, today we've got news about the next buff. There are also some players who are upset about the upcoming update, and we'll be looking into the new major order as well. Support the channel by tapping the like button below and subscribing. Well, without a doubt, the update is looking better and better each day. The Arrowhead team releases these update videos. What we have today is the Breaker Shotgun buff. We are definitely heading in the right direction with this buff because the developers have stated on the Helldivers 2 Discord this. Buff number 3, the Breaker. Here goes the long-awaited Breaker update. Now it comes with an extended magazine which holds 16 shells and stagger force increased from 10 to 15. Yeah, we're only on buff number 3 and the changes so far look impressive, and there's only 5 more days left until the patch is revealed, meaning there's more buffs on the way that are going to be announced. The 4th and 5th change is supposed to be amazing based off of what the support team member B Vitamin has mentioned recently, as you can see in this post. Now here's the full clip where the developers talk a little bit about it, and this was posted on the official Helldivers 2 Discord. You guys can catch me here in a few seconds.
My name is Johan Pilestedt.
And I'm Niklas Manborg.
Today we're diving into the patch notes of Helldivers 2. Have we finally reverted the Breaker to what it was at launch?
Yes, we have.
We have.
You got more. It actually got more stagger.
Oh, nice. And 16 rounds per magazine.
Yes.
Nice.
And no, we didn't also take away magazines.
Wow, so we've all been waiting for this change for ages, or at least that's how it felt. And you know, I have to say this is some big news because we finally have another shotgun option to choose from. And it's not just either the Breaker or even the Cookout. In general, I'm happy to see that they're taking these buffs seriously and are not messing around this time. I mentioned in the previous video that if we do see any nerfs at all, I don't think it's going to be a big deal because of all the buffs that have been announced. Secondly, the developers have just announced that we will be receiving a brand new Warbond on the 19th. As some of you recall from one of my previous videos, I discussed this possibility and it seems my prediction was correct. Arrowhead has confirmed that the newest Warbond will be called the Chemical Agent, featuring a brand new stratagem, skins, a chemical weapon, and much more, which we're going to discuss right now. So with this Warbond, you're actually going to be receiving 2 stratagems. There's no primaries, no secondaries, only stratagems, which I actually don't mind. I think this is a great idea, and I've actually suggested this in the past. Anyways, with that being said, the first stratagem on the list is the TX41 Sterilizer. This one looks immaculate, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. It essentially is like a flamethrower, but without the flames, right? You're going to be expelling a lot of toxic gas, and it looks quite effective. The last stratagem on the list is the AXTX13 Guard Dog. This one is very similar to the Sterilizer in terms of it shooting out a bunch of gas, but the main difference here is that instead of it being a weapon that you can hold, it's obviously a drone. So it's going to be following you around on the battlefield shooting at Terminids and Automatons. Now with the stratagems out of the way, we are going to be receiving a G4 gas grenade. This right here is going to be quite effective in taking out large groups of enemies, as shown in the trailer. Now, not only are we going to be receiving that utility, we're also going to be receiving another one called the P11 Stim Pistol. So I'm sure you guys can guess what that's going to do. Yeah, it's going to allow you to heal your friendlies nearby. So if you're getting tackled by a bunch of bugs, and you can see that your teammate has a lot of health being depleted, then you can shoot that stim at them and heal them. But I wonder, can you possibly heal yourself with it? If possible, that would be awesome. Alright, we've talked about the Sterilizer, the Guard Dog, the Gas Grenade, and the Stim Pistol, but what about the passives and the new armor? Well, there are 2 armor sets, one called the AF50 and the other AF02. Now, both armor sets come with a brand new passive called Advanced Filtration, which gives you some resistance against some of those gas clouds. The only thing about this armor set right now is that there's not much revealed about it, so we don't know how much resistance is given. So it could be 50, it could be 75%, but I wonder if they're going to remain, around the 75% range, similar to how they did with the last Warbond. Nonetheless, those armors are going to be included with this Warbond, as well as some brand new player banners, capes, emotes and victory poses, and even a player title. The player banners are right here, and they're okay. I don't really mind player banners as much as I like cosmetics, but anyways, it says right here, standard of safe distance, and patient zero's remembrance. Those are the same titles for the capes as well, and by the way, I love the green theme here. It looks awesome. Now, not only that, but there's actually a brand new color option here, which is called Mustard. There's one for the shuttle, the helipod, and the exosuit. What's great about these color options, by the way, if you don't know about this, Pilstad had confirmed, the CCO had confirmed, that this right here, these color options, are going to be used on armor sets eventually. So, if you do end up collecting a bunch of armors, you can use those color options on the armors at some point in the future. On a different note, the update is slated for release in about 6 days, counting from today. So far, the developers have plans to implement some big changes, moving in what I believe is the most positive direction yet. However, I've noticed a lot of online chatter about how this could be the worst update, or that it will make the game too easy. I'm not exaggerating, by the way. There are a lot of players that are currently upset about the upcoming update due to the recent buff announcements. For instance, this player wrote, "They're trolling us back, the game is going to be stupid easy by the time all these PC Master Race fan service buffs come out." Then another player mentioned, "Actual good players will tell you about the game being too easy and mindless. Nobody genuinely likes power creeps in their games, be it PvE or PvP." And last but not least, we have this user who says, "LOL at the difficulty, not even the railgun could penetrate the Cyborg Scout, bot trooper equivalent shields. And the elites were all immune to fire and the railgun for the most part. The game is going to be easy now that no amount of enemies will even get us back to Helldive difficulty. Not before the game runs at 5 FPS anyway." Alright, my response to these type of comments is that the patch hasn't been released yet, and secondly, the community manager recently explained that their approach is to increase the difficulty if the game turns out to be too easy, rather than decreasing it. This is essentially to help them find the sweet spot in balancing. Also, I'm not exactly sure what some players are looking for anymore. The truth is, Helldivers 2 has experienced both highs and lows, and maybe mostly lows if you look at it that way. But in this instance, the Arrowhead devs seem to be making a genuine effort to regain our trust and try to improve, and now some are deciding to criticize the patch before it even arrives. Speaking of the patch, Arrowhead has been providing us with great communication through in-game footage of what's to come, but it appears that's not enough for some, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I'm not sure if these are the same players who have been saying that, Space Marine 2 is going to kill Helldivers 2. If so, I think that's ridiculous considering they're both different in their own right. For instance, I've played Space Marine 2's campaign, PvP, and even the PvE mode. Pretty much everything, and I couldn't see the similarities at all. In Helldivers 2, you have a fairly large map to explore with different objectives. Not only that, but a community that works together to complete major orders. There's no campaign or PvP mode, and the game itself is the campaign, and we're all experiencing it each week with a new major order. In Space Marine 2, as I mentioned, you have a campaign, you have a PvE mode with 6 missions, and you also have PvP. There's really not much to do after that, and to be honest, this isn't to detract from Space Marine 2, which I think is an excellent game and is fun, but it's certainly not the same as Helldivers 2, and I prefer playing Helldivers 2 more. To be honest, there's something special about this game when it comes to the community that I don't think many other games currently possess, even Space Marine 2. I could be wrong, and you're welcome to correct me in the comments, but the Helldivers community is probably one of the most passionate communities I've ever been a part of. For instance, when it came down to the PSN Link system, we all fought back, and we actually created a change to a point where we review bombed the game so much that Sony managed to backtrack on it and just say, hey, we don't need this now. And sure, there are some blocked regions still, and the fight isn't over yet, but we are making some progress, and I don't think a lot of games have been able to do that exact thing. With that being said, I believe we'll see Helldivers 2 head in a better direction this time around, and if I'm wrong, but it seems Arrowhead has got the right mindset this time. Moving along, we all know that the flamethrower is going to be reverted and will also receive a buff, so what does that mean for the Torture or the Crisper? Can we expect those weapons to receive a buff too? Yeah, for sure, the developers have improved them as well, and this has been confirmed on Reddit by a support team member after a player wrote in the comments that the devs mentioned, the fire weapons in general will be buffed, and that probably the Torture and Crisper will be buffed as well. This led the Arrowhead support team member Omnivol to respond that this is correct. So yeah, we can expect significant changes not just for the Flam 40, but also for the Crisper and Torture, as you can see here. The question now is, what about the enemies? Will the Scorcher also be enhanced for the Hulks in terms of damage? No, these buffs will only apply for the flamethrower type weapons. With that said, there's a player on Reddit that asked a great question about the Hulks and other bots. Will they be able to one-shot us similar to how it was a few patches ago? And Omnivol responded with this right here. That's not my experience when playtesting the upcoming patch. What is said in the video applies to Helldivers flamethrower weapons, not the Hulks. Now again, this will only apply to Helldivers using flamethrower weapons and not the Hulks or even the Hellfire Tornadoes. For enemies and environmental effects, they should remain the same as they currently are, and I'm not surprised to hear this because in patch 01.00.300, the developers reduced the Hulk Scorcher damage by 20%, so it wouldn't make sense for them to increase the damage, right? Considering they had made those changes previously. Anyways, if you weren't aware that the flamethrowers in general would receive a buff or that the Hulks would remain unchanged, then there you go, hope it helps. I was curious about these changes myself, and so far everything looks promising. With all that information being said, this is your Helldivers 2 news. If you guys would like to be featured in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below. The first comment is by Honda Civic. Looks like fun is back on the menu, boys. The second comment is by Damn. Wait, what? Said AH is pulling on Oprah, and I'm all for it. You get a buff, everyone gets a buff. And lastly, we have Diago Salazar. The increase to durable damage for the railgun is definitely a good thing. It will make an intermediary of the AMR and an AT weapon, so it makes it a jack of all trades. Not sure why that was difficult to read, but there you go. Those are the top 3 comments. Hope you guys comment down below. Let me know what you think about the Warbond and everything we've talked about. If you guys have not done so, subscribe, turn on notifications, and yeah, thank you guys for watching the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one.